everyone. Thank you for joining. So today's practice is going to be a little more strength-based. There is going to be mobility, stability. And if you've taken any of my classes, the emphasis is always the breath. So that being said, go ahead and find a comfortable seat. So take a moment here to settle in. And if you have tight hips like I do, you might want to sit on, maybe you have blocks, maybe you don't, maybe it's a pillow. It could be hero's pose on the knees. Either way, have your spine relatively straight. Take a moment, settle in. Closing the eyes. And once you feel settled in, bring your awareness to your breath. Just recognizing the inhales coming in through the nose. Exhales out through the nose. And as you start to settle in a little deeper, without forcing anything, slowly start to elongate the inhales through the nose. Exhales out through the nose. And staying here with the eyes closed, you're going to choose your intention. Maybe it's a goal, maybe it's something you're working towards currently. It's something you desire, something you want maybe to come into your life. So take a moment here to choose this goal, this intention. We're just going to play with it a little bit here. So this could be health and wellness related, your asana practice, relationships, career, vocation, whatever it is. And after you made this decision, I want you to try to see it inside your mind's eye as if it's already happened. As if you already have met this goal, this intention. And don't fret about it, don't force anything. Just see if you could play with it and see things inside your mind that lets you know that you've accomplished this goal already. What do you see that lets you know you've accomplished this goal already? And then we're going to invite in our auditory sense. So what do you hear? So what are people saying to you that lets you know you've accomplished this goal? And this could be loved ones, friends, family, perfect strangers. But people are saying things to you that let you know you've accomplished this goal. So as we're seeing and we're hearing inside our minds, we'll just play with this a little bit more. So as we're seeing and we're hearing, this is the language of our mind. And then now we start to tap into the language of our body, which is emotions, feeling. So since this is something you probably want or desire, again, maybe you're already working towards this goal, this intention, what does it feel like to have this? You've already accomplished it, you have it right now. What are some elevated emotions that you have attached to this? Like joy or gratitude, love. See if you could tap into what this feels like. We're going to take a few more breaths here. So you could play with this, integrating mind and body, seeing, hearing, feeling. You could also attach a mantra if you'd like. So for example, as you inhale inside your mind, you may say, I am. And then as you exhale, something short and concise related to this goal. So I am on the inhale. Something short and concise related to your goal on the exhale. Or just simply take a few more slow, deep breaths. And then keeping the eyes closed, bring the palms together into the heart center. Maybe slightly tuck the chin. And then take a moment for gratitude to find something, someone, yourself, anything to be thankful for. And see if you can stay connected to your breath. We're just going to start to add some movement here. So go ahead and find your tabletop on all fours. We'll do a few rounds of cat-cows here. So in tabletop, having shoulders stacked above elbows, above wrists, knees hip-width apart. As you inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chin, drop the belly. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, actively push into the earth to round the spine. And then just simply keep flowing here. So utilize breath with movements. Utilize the entire inhale, the entire exhale to complete your movement. We're going to take about 5 more cycles of breath here. So if you want to tap into barrel rolls, figure eights, anything that feels good, about 5 more cycles of breath. And we always talk about being mindful in yoga. Let's see if we could be mindless. So tap into more of that feeling. See if you could feel the pose, feel your breath. Mindless, feel more. Go ahead and take a child's pose. So you could either bring the big toes to touch, open up the knees wide, sink the hips back. You could either bring the knees a little bit closer together if you'd like. Forehead on the mat, palms facing up, arms behind you. And we'll take about 3 or 4 more cycles of breath here. And know that you can always come back to this child's pose if you need a little reset, a little pause, a little break. And utilize this child's pose to tune back in instead of checking out. So coming back to the breath when you need to, slow down the inhales and exhales. And then go ahead and come back to your tabletop on all fours. And then one more round of cat-cows or barrel rolls, figure eights. Maybe tap into that ujjayi breath, the breath of victory. That slight constriction in the back of the throat. It's like a steam or a hissing sound. About 2 more cycles of breath here. And then come back to that neutral spine in your tabletop. Bring your hands out in front of you several inches. Shift the weight forward. So again, now, shoulders above elbows, above wrists. You are now in a modified plank. Curl the toes if you'd like, and take one or both knees off the ground for a more traditional plank. 5 cycles of breath here. And I like to call it active stillness. So you're not just hanging out here, you're actually pushing the earth away, drawing belly button back towards the spine, lifting the kneecaps, engaging the front side of the legs, pushing your heels back into an imaginary wall. 2 more cycles of breath here. Tap into that ujjayi breath for strength, endurance. And then coming back to tabletop. 2 cycles of breath here to reset, recover. And then take those hands out in front of you, several inches again. Shift the weight forward, shoulders over elbows, over wrists. 2 more breaths here in your version of a plank. Take 1 more slow, deep inhale, and then exhale, downward facing dog. About 5 cycles of breath here. So you can find some movement, maybe pedal it out, bending a knee, opposite heel gets closer to the ground. We'll take about 3 more cycles of breath here. And then now let's slow it down. Let's find our active stillness here. So similar to plank, you're pushing the earth away in downward facing dog. Belly button back towards the spine. Again, lifting kneecaps, engaging the front side of the legs. Lifting the hips as you drop the heels. So simultaneously feel yourself pushing the earth away, dropping the heels, lifting the hips. 2 more cycles of breath here. And then walk your hands back towards your feet for a standing forward fold. So in your forward fold, keep the weight towards the balls of the feet. Almost feel like you're going to fall forward. Maybe a little slight bend in the knees. Relax the neck. Let the head be heavy. Your head's dripping into your mat. About 2 more cycles of breath here. And then walk your hands out towards your plank. So we're going to be here for several breaths. You have options. So you could stay in your more traditional plank. You could drop a knee or both knees. You could even go back to downward facing dog. You could flow here, so you could inhale, roll into your plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. So several breaths here. You can even find child's pose if you'd like. More importantly, just focus on your breath. So feel more. About 5 more cycles of breath. Plank, downward facing dog. You can even hold chaturanga if you'd like. Utilize the breath here. Ujjayi breath, breath of victory. 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and find a child's pose. So any version of child's pose. Maybe the big toes are touching or close to touching. Knees open wide, sinking the hips back towards the heels. Again, another option is keep the knees closer together. Palms facing up, arms behind you, forehead on the mat. So thinking about this practice as a moving meditation. And then go ahead and come back to your version of a plank. We're just going to take about 2 breaths here. And vinyasas are optional in my class. So take 1 more slow, deep inhale here. Exhale, vinyasa, or just meet in downward facing dog. About 2 breaths in this downward facing dog. And then walking feet to hands. Find that forward fold again. Couple cycles of breath here. And then nice and slow, slower than you want to, start to roll up to standing. 1 vertebrae on top of the other. Chin slightly tucked. Chin will be the last thing that comes parallel to your mat. And then bringing the palms together in the heart center. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up, salute the sun. Maybe look up at the thumbs. As you exhale, lead with the heart as you fold forward. Inhale, find that length in the spine, halfway lift here. Exhale, vinyasa or downward facing dog. And then inhale, lift that right leg up towards the ceiling. Stay here for a couple breaths, point the toes, level off the hips. Keep pushing the earth away. Lifting the kneecap of that standing leg, dropping the heel. 2 more breaths here. Active stillness, push the earth away. Belly button to spine. Engage quadricep. Take 1 more inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling the left leg up. Same thing here, point the toes, level off the hips, keep pushing the earth away. Emphasize that pointer and thumb side. Engage quadricep. Take 1 more inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll into your plank. 1 more slow, deep inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Vinyasa if you'd like. Inhale that right leg up nice and slow again. Exhale, bring that right knee to nose. Stay here and breathe. So keep pushing the earth away, tucking the chin. Get that knee a little closer into the chest. Inhale it back up. Exhale, bring it to the nose again. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant that right foot in between the hands. Stay here for a second. So keeping this right knee above the right ankle. Lift the chest. Sink the hips. On your next inhale, you're going to find crescent lunge. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Couple breaths here. So eventually that right thigh is parallel to the earth. Try to straighten this back leg if you can. One more slow, deep inhale. Exhale, vinyasa, downward facing dog. Keep breathing. Inhale that left leg up nice and slow. Exhale, bring it to the nose. Stay here. Keep pushing into the earth. Inhale, bring that left leg back up. Exhale to the nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, planting that foot in between the hands. Pause here. Left knee above left ankle. Lift the chest. Sink the hips. On your next inhale, find crescent lunge. A couple breaths here. So eventually left thigh parallel to the earth. See if you could straighten that back leg just a little bit more. Breathe through the discomfort. Take one more slow, deep inhale. Exhale, vinyasa, or downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up nice and slow. Exhale, bend your knee and open up your hip here. So you can find some movement here. You can find stillness. Again, keep pushing the earth away. Trying to drop that back heel a little closer to the ground, engaging that standing quadricep. Inhale, re-straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring that knee to nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant it in between the hands here. So take your time, we're going to find warrior one. So that back foot angles in flat, 45 degrees-ish. Root the outside of this foot, where you could almost lift the arch here. On an inhale, you're going to bring the arms up. Couple breaths here. So rooted outside foot, lifting the arch, squaring the hips here. Maybe looking up towards the thumbs, a little baby back bend. Originates from behind the heart center, so we're not dumping in this low back. Intentional breath here. So maybe you start to reach back. Right hip comes back, left hip forward. Take one more slow, deep inhale. Exhale, vinyasa, downward facing dog. So again, mind less, feel more. We're trying to find our flow here. The zone, zen, equanimity, whatever you want to call it. Couple breaths in this downward facing dog. So flow being integrated, mind and body being completely present. Inhale that left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip here. Again, find movement if you'd like, or find stillness, but engaging that standing leg here. Maybe dropping the heel. Breathe. Inhale to re-straighten that leg towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it to the nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant that foot in between the hands. Take your time. So now that right foot's angled in 45 degrees-ish. Root here, that outside, lift the inner arch. Sweeping the arms up on an inhale. Same thing, keep that strong anchor here. Left hip comes a little back, right hip forward. Maybe looking up towards those thumbs in the ceiling. Baby back bend behind the heart center. 2 more breaths here. One more slow, deep inhale. Maybe lean back just a hair. Exhale, wash through your vinyasa or downward facing dog. So we're going to take about 5 breaths here. So you could find child's pose. You could find downward facing dog. So in a moment, we're going to float. And in this flow we're going to do here in a moment, it could be 1 breath, 1 movement. Even in this flow, you could find stillness. And I'll explain a little bit as we go. So here's where I would usually crank up the music. And E, you know, I want to play some Post Malone right now, but ain't happening. Pick your song here right now inside your head. Because my playlists are kind of awesome. You know that. All right, here's the flow. Inhale that right leg up nice and slow. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant that foot in between the hands. Inhale, either crescent lunge or warrior 1. Exhale, vinyasa or downward facing dog. So here, downward facing dog, take a couple breaths if you'd like. Or immediately inhale the left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant in between the hands. Inhale, crescent or warrior 1. Exhale, wash through your vinyasa or downward facing dog. And we're going to keep flowing here about 2 minutes or so. So this is your flow. This is movement with breath. So again, find stillness. You could stay in downward facing dog for a couple breaths. You could stay in warrior or crescent lunge for a couple breaths, but keep breathing here. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant it in between the hands. Inhale, crescent or warrior 1. Exhale, vinyasa or downward facing dog. So just keep flowing here, or again, find stillness. Breathe. Ujjayi breath, breath of victory. So it's just you, your breath, and movement. Keep flowing here. About another minute. If the breath starts to get ahead of you, slow it down. Moving meditation. Breath is the emphasis. So maybe you start to finish that right side, 1 more on the left side. And then whenever you feel like you're ready to find a little stillness, you find that stillness in downward facing dog or any version of child's pose. We're going to take about 5 more cycles of breath wherever you are. Come back to equanimity, slowing down the breath. Slow, deep inhales through the nose, and maybe a little bit longer, slower, deeper exhales out through the nose. Breath being the great adaptogen. In Ayurveda, we talk about pillars of health. What we eat, what we drink, quality of our rest or sleep, and the breath. And again, if you know me, breath is just huge. I literally and figuratively cannot live without breath. Prana, pranayama. And then go ahead and come back to your tabletop. Bring that right arm out in front of you, thumb facing up, left leg behind you. Flex the toes. We're going to take a couple breaths here. So again, active stillness. You're pushing that earth away with the left hand. Flexing the toes, engaging that quadricep here. And then coming back to tabletop, we'll switch sides. Left arm out in front, right leg behind you. Again, active stillness. Keep pushing into the earth with that right hand. Emphasize that pointer and thumb side. Flex the toes. One more slow, deep inhale here. Exhale, come back to your tabletop. Making it a little more flowy now. Come back to right arm, left leg. This time point the toes. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, push into the earth, tuck the tailbone and chin, elbow to knee.
What? Say it again.
As you exhale, tuck the tailbone and chin, bring it into a ball. Keep flowing here. Inhale, lengthen out the spine. No laughing during our asana practice. This is serious shit right here. Do not have fun. Keep flowing, my model here. All you yogis out there. Couple more cycles of breath. Inhale, find length. Exhale, bring it into a ball. On your next inhale, stay here, find your stillness. Keep the toes pointed or flexed, up to you. Find your breath, find your stability. If you want to challenge that balance, take that right heel to the buttocks. There you go. Stay with the breath. Steady breath, steady balance. Steady body, steady mind. One more inhale. Exhale, tabletop. Take a couple breaths here to reset. Silly. All right, switch sides. Left arm out in front, right leg behind you. All right, take that inhale for length. Exhale, bring it into a ball, so tucking tailbone and chin. And then keep flowing here. Slow, deep inhale. Maybe slower, deeper exhale as you push into the earth. Tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Couple more cycles of breath here. On that next inhale, you're going to find that active stillness. So again, either point or flex the toes. Push into the earth with that right hand. And maybe take left heel to the buttocks. Steady breath. Steady body. Steady mind. Take one more slow inhale here. Exhale, tabletop. And then any version of child's pose. So if you want, you could always release a little heat through lion's breath. So what that means is as you inhale, take a slow, deep inhale through the nose. And then as you exhale, we're going to take about 2 or 3 more cycles of breath here. And then coming back to your tabletop. Bring those hands out in front of you several inches again. Find your version of a plank for just a breath or two. One more slow, deep inhale. Exhale, vinyasa or downward facing dog. Make sure you keep those elbows pinned in chaturanga. Shoulders stay at least parallel, if not above the elbows. Pulling the heart center through upward facing. Inhale that right leg up nice and slow. Exhale, bring it to that right tricep. Eventually it's the right shoulder. Stay here, active stillness. Keep bringing that knee a little higher onto the shoulder. Inhale it back up. Exhale to the nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, plant it in between the hands. Find crescent lunge. Couple breaths here. One more slow, deep inhale here. As you exhale, plant those hands outside that right foot. Keep this left hand on the inside of the right foot. Right hand to the low back. Inhale, lift the heart center. Exhale, twist. Option to take that right arm up towards the ceiling if you'd like. Active stillness here. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, maybe lift the chest. And then as you exhale, use your breath and your core to maybe twist just a little bit more. Bringing that right hand back to the earth. Inhale, find that crescent lunge. Exhale, drop the elbows, lift the heart center up towards the ceiling. So goalpost arms or cactus arms. Each inhale, maybe you're lifting that heart center a little bit more. Inhale to re-straighten the arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, vinyasa or downward facing dog. Breathe. Couple breaths in this downward facing dog. The sound of coffee being poured. Inhale that left leg up. Exhale, bring it to that left tricep, eventually left shoulder. Stay here and breathe. Yeah. Heel to buttocks, baby. Yeah. Push the arms into the earth. Inhale that left leg back up. Exhale, bring it to the nose. Inhale it back up. Exhale, planting that foot in between the hands. Find your crescent lunge on an inhale. Just a couple breaths here. Maybe straighten that back leg a little bit more. So you're pushing in like this. Take one more slow, deep inhale. Exhale, planting the hands outside the foot. Right hand on the inside of that left foot. Left hand to the low back. Inhale, lift the heart center. Exhale, twist. And then option to bring that left arm up towards the ceiling if you'd like. Maybe a little movement with each inhale and exhale, or it's just the intention, but inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the heart center a hair. And then as you exhale, maybe deepen that twist just a little bit. Left hand back towards the mat. Inhale, find your crescent lunge. Exhale, drop the elbows, lift the heart center. So again, a little baby back bend. Originates from behind the sternum here. So we're not dumping into this low back. Keep lifting the heart center a little bit on your inhale. Maybe look back a little bit. On your next inhale, re-straighten the arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, vinyasa or downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. We're gonna get a little abs in. I'm sure so many people want abs. Elisa, I know you want abs. So you have a jump through, you can practice your jump through. So what that means, inhale, come up on the tiptoes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Either jump through or just come to a seated position. So arms parallel to the earth. We're going to take a few seconds to lower down. So take an inhale to prepare. As you exhale, slowly start to lower down to your mat, but take your time here. Use your breath. 5, 4, you're going backwards.
Going backwards?
Yep.
Sorry.
3, 2, 1.5. 1.
I made it.
Lay down. 2 breaths here to reset. So yeah, we didn't go over this, so she has no idea what we're doing right now. Honestly, I don't really know what we're doing next today. All right, bring the knees into the chest for a moment. Give them a little squeeze, maybe gently rock side to side. And then keep that right knee in the chest, but extend that left leg out in front of you like an inch off the ground. Flex the toes. And then interlace fingers behind the head. On your next inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. And then as you exhale, left elbow to right knee. Let's stay here. This is our active stillness. This is our time under tension. So every inhale, lift the chest a little bit. Every exhale, twist a little bit more. You stay there. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. 2 more breaths. And then slowly lower back down to your mat. Switch the knees out, left knee into the chest. Flex the toes of that right foot. Interlace fingers behind the head. Inhale, lift the head and the chest. Exhale, right elbow to left knee. Laugh if you can, because that's going to engage your abs more. Seriously, it's really good out here. So inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, twist. In through the nose, out through the nose. And then slowly lower back down to your mat. Both knees into the chest just for a moment. This is my favorite ab exercise because it's very engaging and super safe if you have back issues. So both hands on your thighs. Shins parallel to the mat. Shins parallel to the mat. So in about 5 seconds, you're going to push into your legs as hard as you can or as hard as you want. And then you're going to push back with your knees. 3, 2, 1. So push and resist. Option to bring head and shoulders up off the ground, but honestly, if you're really doing this and really engaging, you don't have to do that. Breathe. Keep pushing, keep resisting. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relax. So we have 5 more rounds of that for 5 breaths. Just kidding, I'm fucking with you guys. All right, one more time. So, in 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, push and resist. In through the nose, out through the nose. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, relax. 5 breaths here to do whatever you want. Find stillness, if you like, knees into the chest. Couple more breaths here, whatever feels good. So we're going to start to slow it down a little bit here, but the breath doesn't really change. So we use that same breath as we're warming up. More oxygen to and from heart, lungs, muscles. Same breath as we're finding that stability, mobility, strength, and endurance. Same breath now to start to slow it down, lengthen muscle groups. So we're still always integrating our mind and our body by utilizing our breath. So keeping the feet planted, we're going to do a few rounds of windshield wipers. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop the knees down to one side, back to center, slowly drop them down to the other side. So if you want, integrating mind and body with the breath, you could inhale when the knees come to center. Exhale as you drop them down to one side. And then just simply keep flowing here. We're going to take about 3 or 4 more cycles of breath. When you come back to center, bring both of those knees into the chest again. Again, maybe give them a little squeeze, maybe gently rock side to side. And then we're going to keep that right knee into the chest, extend that left leg out in front of you, but just completely relax that left foot on the mat. Take a couple breaths here. So maybe on your inhales, you feel the ribs expand, rise, and as you exhale, maybe bringing that right knee a little closer to the outside of that right shoulder. Or you could take half happy baby if you'd like. It's just an option. So again, utilizing breath here. We're typically more pliable, plastic flexible on the exhales. So you use that inhale maybe just to prepare. And then exhale, maybe you just get a little bit deeper into your pose. But finding Sthira Sukha Asana, basically the effort and ease. So we don't want to push and force, you'll find too much resistance. But if you're wanting to increase that flexibility, you're simply not just hanging out either. So find that zone, that flow. Samadhi, samadhi. And then bring that right knee back towards the midline. Left hand on the outside of that right knee. Take an inhale to prepare. And then as you exhale, find a spinal twist. Maybe looking out over that right extended arm. Or if there's any other version of a twist that works for you, by all means, feel free to engage in that. Two more cycles of breath here. Slowly coming back to center. Take your time. You're going to switch the knees out. You're going to bring that left knee into the chest. Same thing, we'll take a few breaths here. Same option if you want half happy baby. Again, utilizing breath here. You're wanting to increase that flexibility, finding your flow, integrating mind and body. And then bringing that left knee closer towards the midline. Maybe that right hand finds its way on the outside of that left knee. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, find your spinal twist. So sometimes it can be a little more challenging as we slow things down to stay with the breath. It happens. Maybe you get distracted externally. More than likely it's internally what's going on inside our mind here. So just keep coming back to the breath. And then slowly coming back to center. Maybe bringing both knees back into the chest. And then take your time, go ahead and find that comfortable seat one more time. So again, if you have tight hips like I do, you might want to sit on blankets, bolsters if you have them, blocks, pillows. Again, hero's pose is an option on the knees. Closing the eyes, coming back to stillness, back to our breath. Slow, deep inhales through the nose. Maybe slower, deeper exhales out through the nose. We're going to take about 5 more cycles of breath here. You go back to that intention, that goal if you want to play with that. Seeing, hearing, feeling. Maybe it's a mantra you want to play with. Maybe chanting inside your mind if that serves you. And then now you have options. You could stay here in your meditation. If there's any pose, asana, posture you'd like to end your practice with before we find corpse pose, shavasana. So about another minute or two here. Again, stay in your meditation. Maybe it's a headstand, shoulder stand. So anything that you would like to engage in here for about another minute. So whenever you're ready, we're all going to meet in Shavasana. Taking your time, settling in. So lying on your back when you're ready. With the eyes closed, taking up space. Arms down by your side, palms facing up. Allowing those feet to naturally splay out to the side. And then just coming back to a more natural breath pattern. So no more long, slow, deep inhales and exhales. Just come back to more natural breath. And just letting everything go, melting into your mat. Start to bring some awareness back to your breath. Maybe some slow, deep inhales through the nose, exhales out through the nose. Start to find a little movement here with the body. You could start by wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. And if it feels good, reach the arms up overhead, point the toes, find that good morning stretch. And then maybe knees back into the chest, maybe give them a little squeeze. Rolling over to either side, finding a fetal position here for a couple breaths. Right side solar, left side lunar. And then coming back to a comfortable seat. Bringing those palms together into the heart center, maybe slightly tucking the chin. Take another moment here for gratitude, finding something, someone, yourself, anything to be thankful for. So as we find gratitude, consider the antithesis of our ego, which wants to separate. We become more whole as we find gratitude. And bringing those thumbs to the forehead. Allowing ourselves to have kind and loving thoughts. Thumbs to the lips. For kind and loving words, not just to others, but to ourselves. And then back into the heart center. For a kind, loving heart. Namaste.
Namaste.
So thank you all. I'm assuming we're still on camera. Maybe we're off, I don't know. Anyway, again, thank you for sharing this time with us. Have an awesome day. Go for it. I don't remember what it is.
So we'll see you, hopefully, we're going to do this again on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time next week. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Tuesday will be a gentle yoga class under my account at Ms. Ruba Yogi, and we'll put that on the comments. And then Tony _ yoga, and we have a suggested donation Venmo account, and it is capital T, capital R, capital Y, try, and then OGA 2020, Try Yoga 2020. We really appreciate anything you can give. Regardless, continue to join us and share this journey with us per quarantine life. We appreciate it.